Oh, sorry. So yeah, I'm checking, but I'm unable to find the lobby here. I'm checking. Anyone help me how to identify the lobby? Oh, sir, one of my friend is in SS. Uh, just give me some time. I will leave and join again. Very much. Thank you. Yeah. So next, slightly, I will discuss about the neural networks, which is a part of the deep learning. But please give me some time. I'm checking. A few people sir said that they are in the lobby, but I'm unable to see the lobby where it is. Hello, sir. So issue is resolved. Hope. Now we will discuss about the. I'm not going in depth about the neural networks, deep learning. Just I'm giving some brief idea how we develop the architecture, how the neural networks looks like. Actually, artificial neural networks are developed by taking the inspiration from the functionality of our human brain. How human brain is constructed. We have the multiple neurons, and all the neurons are interconnected through a synaptic weight electrochemical reaction. So like that, we are developing the artificial neural network by taking the architecture construction of your brain and the functionality of the brain, and then new neural networks are developed, artificial neural networks are developed. So how we develop the architecture of the neural networks, I'm going to help you. So let's assume, so clearly understand, it's very simple. Let's assume I want to work on a COVID detection problem. Okay, still I'm so I think everyone can join because I'm removing the restrictions to stay in the lobby. Anyone can directly join here. So just now I changed the options. So if there is any issue, just log out and join again. So let's assume I'm trying to build a neural network model, deep learning model to detect the COVID, whether the person has a COVID or not. Okay, so I want to first, as part of the machine learning, deep learning pipeline, we have to prepare the data set. How we prepare the data set? If you want to prepare the data set, you have to identify the features. So what are the features I want to want to use? One is the what is the fever of the person, fever, and what about the oxygen level, and whether the person has a cold or not, and whether the person has a cough or not. So based on this, I want to label it whether the person has a COVID or not. Yeah, all are able to join because previously it is 18, now it is 23. I am not allowing anyone, just they are directly joined. I remove the option of allowing the particular people. Anyone can join. Now it is 24, one more person added, joined. Sorry, please. So as part of deep learning pipeline, first we have to prepare the data. So let us assume I collected the data from the five peoples in the hospital. Some person has a temperature 98 degree, oxygen 99, and no cold, no cough. So and is not a COVID patient, it is zero. And one person has a 1 or 2 fever and a 90 O2 level and has a COVID and has a cough and is a COVID patient. And another one has a 104 and has the 85 O2 level and cold S, cough S, and it is a COVID patient. And there is one more person, 98.3 and 100 O2 level, no cold and no cough, and he is a non-COVID patient. So like that, I have prepared the data from the hospital. Now data is ready. After the available data, now we have to design the architecture of the deep learning model or neural network model. So how we design the architecture of the model or neural network model? Actually, in the neural network, we have the 3 layers. One layer is called as the input layer, another layer called as the output layer, another layer called as the hidden layer. So we have the input layer, output layer, and hidden layer. And every layer we have the neurons, like human brain, we have the neurons. Actually, in our human brain also, see, if our eyes are functioning means the eye sends the some signal and send the signal to the human brain and some neurons will be activated. Those are called the input neurons, right? Let us assume I am sitting in a room and delivering the lecture to you. Suddenly our visitor came into my room. Then my eyes sense the person and the sender send to my some neurons into the human brain. They are excited. So these are the new input neurons. They will sense the input data, and some process will be happened. Then what I will do? Just get up from my chair and I will wish him. I will talk with him. Why he is coming here? So then some action will be taken care. So why I'm standing? Because some output neurons in the human brain send the signal to my legs, and I'm stand up from my chair and I will interact with the VC sir. Okay, so that's all. Like that in our human brain, we are developing the artificial neural network model also. So we have the input layer. So input layer, and we have the one hidden layer, and one not any number of hidden layer, and we have the output layer. Now every layer has the neurons, and how many neurons will be in the every. So thank you very much. Because of the multiple distractions, now I forgot to share all the things. Thank you very much. Okay, so once again I will repeat. So I want to build a deep learning model or neural network model, predict the a particular person has a COVID or not. So because that is the problem, COVID prediction is my problem. So to deal with this problem, I have to prepare the data. So I have chosen few input features like fever and oxygen level and cold level and cough, and I get the data. So I went to the hospital and collect the data from the various people. One person has a 98 Fahrenheit temperature and 99% is O2 level, no cold, no cough, and he is not a COVID person, zero. Like that, another person I collected the data, he is a fever and O2 level 90, cold and cough, so he is a COVID patient, he is a COVID patient. And another person I collected data 104, 85, Y and Y, so he is also COVID person. Like that, I have prepared the data. Now, once the data is ready, now move to the design the architecture of the neural network model or deep learning model. In a neural network model, we have the three layers. One is called the input layer, output layer, and hidden layer. And every layer has a neurons. Okay. How many neurons will be in the input layer? How many neurons will be in the hidden layer? How many neurons in the output layer? That we are going to discuss now. So number of neurons in the input layer equal to the number of input features. The number of neurons in input layer is equal to the number of input features. So how many features are there to predict the COVID? Based on what features, how many features you are going to predict whether the person has the COVID or not. So those number of neurons we have to keep here. Anyone can tell how many number of neurons will be in the input layer for this problem? Anyone please respond. How many number of neurons should be in the input layer for this problem? If you want to design a design an artificial neural network model for a COVID prediction, whether the person has a COVID or not, based on the features like fever, O2, cold, and cough. So then how many number of neurons we have to keep in the input layer? Chandu, you are right. Hakim, you are right. Perfect. Sanjay, right. So four neurons. Why four neurons? Because we have the four input features, right? So you have the four neurons, one, two, three, four. So four neurons. So this will one neuron will take the fever data, and the neuron will take the oxygen data, and the neuron will take the cold data, and the neuron will take the cough data. So that is the number of neurons here. And number of neurons in the output layer. So that is depending upon the number of variables you are going to predict. So using the neural network model or deep learning model, how many number of variables you want to predict? Based on that number of variables you are going to predict, the number of neurons will be depends. Now, based on this statement, anyone can tell how many number of neurons will be in the output layer. How many number of neurons will be in the output layer? Not two, but anyhow, thank you for your proper for your response. I am very thankful to 96 Pooja for all the people who are responded. Very good. But right answer is one. Hakim, you are right. Sainath and Swati, you all are right. So this is the number of neurons will be only 1. Why only 1? Only 1. If it is a 0, so negative, COVID negative. If the value is 1, then it is a COVID positive. If the value is negative 0, then it is COVID negative. If the value is 1, then it is the COVID positive. 1 neuron is sufficient because we are going to predict only whether the person has a COVID or not. I'm not going for other analysis. Only whether the person has a COVID or not. My variable is a COVID prediction. Only one variable I'm predicting, whether it is a COVID 1 or is not a COVID 0. So 1 neuron is sufficient in the output layer. Very good. Now there is a hidden layer. In the hidden layer, the number of neurons is the hyperparameter. No one can tell. Maybe in the literature, maybe some formulas are existing. So if these are the input neurons, these are the output neurons, you have to take the average between these two to stick the hidden neurons. No. So maybe, but sometimes it may work well or may not work well. But as of now, there is no thumb rule to stick for the number of neurons in the hidden layer. So number of neurons in the hidden layer is the random. So it may be a 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, whatever it may be. So these neurons are the random in nature. Okay. And not only number of neurons in the hidden layer, you no need to stick for the only one layer also. You can take another layer here also. You can take another layer here. You can take another layer here. This is called the hidden layer because it was inside the input and output. It's not coming outside. That's why it's called the hidden layer. So number of hidden layers is a hyperparameter. You have to tune it. And number of neurons in the hidden layer is a hyperparameter. You have to tune it. You have to try for the different combinations. And finally, the which combination gives the better accuracy, better losses, that model you have to use for the real-time deployment. Okay, so number of hidden layers, number of hidden neurons is completely hyperparameter. You can't change. You can change anything. You can try, you can tune, you can vary. Finally, which combination gives the better result, you can use that one. Okay. So just I want to take only one layer. I want to take only one layer as of now. So, but it's a deep learning. The number of layers, hidden layers will be more than 2. It will be increasing. You have to try with a different number of hidden layers. Now what next to do is, so every neuron in the one layer connected to the remaining all neurons in the another layer like this. So every neuron will be connected to the other neurons in the another layer. So this one also connected to all like this, and this one also connected to all like this, and this one also connected to all like this. So these are called as the connection weights. So you have the, for every connection, there is some weightage, random weightage you have to give, 0.2, 0.3, something, some weights are there. So those are called as the model parameters, weight parameters. So for every connection has some value. That value will be updated during the training period. Okay, now tell me how many number of weight parameters will be there between the input layer and the hidden layer? Anyone? So once again I will tell. So all the neurons in input layer should be connected to the all the neurons in the hidden layer. And every connection has a some weight. That weight is called as the model parameter. And these model parameters are these weights will be updated during the training process such that you are going to predict the output very close to your actual value. You are going to predict the output very close to the actual value. Like that, all the weights will be updated. So based on this statement, based on this architecture, anyone can tell how many number of weight parameters, weight parameters between the input layer and hidden layer. How many number of? Perfectly all right. Rohit, Chandu, right, you are right. So total number of model weight parameters equal to 24. Why? Because every neuron should be interconnected and every interconnection has a weight. So input layer we have the 4, hidden layer we have the 6, total 6 into 4, 24 connections. You have the 24 weights. Very good. Weights are very good, 24. Similarly, hidden layer also connected to the neurons in the output layer, because in the output layer we have the only one neuron like that. Now tell me how many connection weights in the between the hidden layer and the output layer. Four. How many number of connections between the hidden layer and output layer? No. See. Yes. Pooja and Levin, you are right. All are right. Yes, it is the 6. Total number of weights equal to 6. In addition to the weight parameters, every neuron in the hidden layer and every neuron in the output layer will be connected to the one bias parameter. That means, so every neuron in the hidden layer, 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 assigned to some bias parameter. These are called as the bias parameter. It's also some value 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4 like that. And for all the bias parameters, input equal to 1. Similarly, this also one bias parameter. Its input, weight may be 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, whatever it may be, but its input is always 1. So if you have the hidden layers having the 6 hidden neurons, you have the 6 bias parameters in the hidden layer. And if you have the one neuron in the output layer, you have the one bias parameter in the output layer. So here bias parameters are 6. Here bias parameter equal to 1, and total number of model parameters equal to 24 plus 6, 30 plus 6, 36 plus 1, 37 model parameters will be there, and these model parameters will be updated during the training process. These 36 model parameters, both weight and bias parameters, will be updated such that your model is predicting the actual predicting a value which is more close to your actual value. Moreover, one more thing, in addition to the weights, there may be a, because what this deep learning, machine learning all will do, it try to build some complex relation between your input features and your output label. Between the input features and the output label, your deep learning model trying to build some nonlinear relation. So because to build that nonlinear relation in every neuron in the hidden layer and in the output layer, every neuron in the hidden layer and the output layer, we are using the activation functions. Here we are in an activation function. Here we are in the activation function. Here also activation function, activation function, activation function, and activation function. So we are using the activation function in every neuron in the hidden layer and every neuron in the output layer in order to build a complex nonlinear relation between the input features and the output feature. Okay, so these nonlinear activation functions are different type of nonlinear activation functions we have, like a sigmoid activation function. You have the tan hyperbolic activation function. You have the ReLU activation function. You have the Swiss activation function. You have the linear activation function. Many activation functions are there. Okay, but I'm not going to discuss about all these activation functions, but there are some activation functions that are there to build a complex relation between your input and output features via a deep learning model or neural network model. Okay, that I hope you understand. Okay, so this is how the neural networks architecture will be constructed. Later, I will ask one question. Be ready for that one. So yeah. So later I will ask one question. So okay, now architecture is ready. Now how the weights and bias parameters will be updated. So actually, while training process, we will feed uh, sample one input features to the input layer, and we will do some mathematical operations between the input layer, hidden layer, and output layer. And your output neuron will give some output, either 0 or 1, and compare this value with your actual value and calculate the error. Based on the error, your weights and bias parameters will be updated in the back propagation. So that is called as BPA, back propagation algorithm. Moreover, we are not going to discuss about the back propagation algorithm, also not required for this certification examination. It's only fundamentals. So what thing you have to remember is, so back propagation algorithm is used in the artificial neural network to update the model parameters like weights and bias parameters based on the error. Error is nothing but the difference between the predicted value and the actual value. So based on the error, the weights and bias parameters will be updated. Our bias parameters and weight parameters will be updated such that your predicted value will be close to your actual value. That's how the deep learning framework will be works. And there is a different loss functions are used in the artificial neural network, like mean square error is used for. See, I said that ANN can be used for the regression problem. ANN can be used for the binary classification problem. ANN can be used for the categorical classification problem. If you use the ANN for the binary classification problem, you have to, sorry, if you want to use the neural network for the regression problem, you have to use MSE, mean square error, as an error function, cost function. If you want to use the neural network model for the binary classification, we are using the binary cross entropy loss function. Cross entropy loss function are used if you want to use the neural network model for the binary classification. If you want to use the neural network for the categorical classification, then you have to use the categorical cross entropy loss function. So mathematical modeling, I'm not trying to discuss now because it is a complete course. It's not required now also. But there's a different loss function for the different problems by the artificial neural network model. So this is about slightly about the deep learning. Okay. Now we will move to the next topic. Now we will till now we discussed about the machine learning, deep learning, error matrix, and performance evaluation perspective only. Now for the next 20 minutes, we will focus on what are the different services offered by the Microsoft in cloud to do the machine learning project. So what are the different services? What are the Azure services? What are the Azure ML services offered by the Microsoft? And wherever all these services are not free of cost. Okay. So, sir, I maybe some people may have some doubt. Just give me 1 minute. Okay. Forget about till now we discussed some mathematics, all things. Now, sir, maybe you may have a doubt. So, what is this cloud-based services? What this Microsoft Azure, Amazon AWS? Why they prepare these cloud services? So, I will to give some case study like suppose I want to build one startup. I want to develop I want to incubate one startup in SRX only. That is, and I have one project that is based on the deep learning, right? So, but I don't have much money. But to do the deep learning project, I required huge servers and high database to store the data, and also high computing machines to train the different deep learning models. I need a huge data, more database and servers to store the data. And I need a high computing and machines, maybe huge amount. It may take sometimes it may take some few lakhs to few crores also. But I am incubating a startup. How we purchase all those things? And if I purchase all those things, I don't know whether my company will sustain in this competitive world or not. I don't know. Third point, because it's a deep learning project. If someone want to write a training algorithm for a huge complex deep learning model, I require a very highly talented, highly knowledgeable, a good programmer. Maybe he charge a very large amount as a salary. He may ask. So all create a very burden for me, right? I can't offer a high amount to purchase high-end servers. I can't offer a high amount for the database. I can't offer a high amount, high money for the computing machine. I can't offer a more money for expert programmer. So for all that type of issues, there is a solution is called as cloud services like Azure and AWS. So what it means is, so Microsoft and Amazon, they they keep the very huge amount of servers at the different locations across the globe. Across the globe, they will keep the different locations. Okay. So what I mean to tell you is, yeah. So different locations they will keep. So what happened? So now I have a solution. Now I will not purchase huge amount of servers because Microsoft already build a huge big servers across the globe at the different locations. Now I will I will purchase a subscription from the Microsoft Azure, and I will store my data in their servers. And I will access whenever I required. So for the storage, I will pay some amount, nominal amount. When I am using that server to store the data, only when I am using, I have to pay. Otherwise, no need to pay. Okay. So the amount will be very low. Like a apartment style. I have money. Then I construct a 10 storage building. And I will give the houses for the people who don't have a huge amount of money to construct the houses. So I will start the rent from them like that. they will establish the different servers at the different locations across the globe. Now I am the startup incubator. I don't have the much money and I have the huge data. I don't know where to store. So I will purchase their database and store there in their servers. Okay. Second thing. Now data is ready. I choose some CNN model, LST model, or whatever it may be. I want to train the model on the database on the data, but they don't have a computing machine, high-end computing machine. Then again, so from the Azure, you can create a virtual machine. Machine is not available. You are connecting to your computer only, but the machine is connected in the cloud. So in the cloud, so based on your configuration, you have to create your own virtual machine, and you can run your code in that virtual machine. Azure will be charged whenever you are using the virtual machine. If you're not using the virtual machine, then they will not charge. Suppose if I'm using the virtual machine for 1 hour, so they will charge for 1 hour only. See, no need to purchase the new machine. Right? So like that. And one more thing, coming to the third point, I said that if you want to do the deep learning project, you require expert. Now that Microsoft gave us some solution. So they developed. So for a machine learning model, if you take the neural network model, so some training algorithm, you require a few 100 to 1000 lines of code. Okay, fine, no issue. They developers backend, they keep the complete code. You use as a service, as a function. Just use the service only. You don't need to write the any code sometimes, and slight very minimal knowledge of the code is sufficient. So that is the AI services Microsoft is providing. Multiple AI services are providing. So because of that one, even though the person who is not good in the programming, also able to train the machine learning models. Even some services are there like ML Studio Classic Designer. It's called Azure Machine Learning Designer. In Azure Machine Learning Designer, you don't need to write a single line of code also. Even if you practice in this, maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow or today, we will work on some project. So if you understand, if you tell your brother or sister who are doing in the 10th class, they are able to build the project. Programming is not required. Such type of services are available provided by the Microsoft, so that the candidate who don't have any programming language or has a limited coding experience are able to build the complete machine learning pipeline and able to deploy their model into the edge devices. That's what the advantage of these cloud services of Microsoft Azure. And the companies are also looking for that one. So some companies, they are mainly relying on the Azure content, and moreover, these AI fundamentals. We are not going to do the practice on it, but to do the practice on it, so initially maybe a few days they will give the some free subscription, but later, if required, you have to pay the amount. But for the subscription, you require the credit card also. Using the credit card, you can connect the Azure during the free period. After that, they will be deduct from the credit card if you want. Otherwise, you can remove your credit card and stop your Azure activities. Okay. So what is another advantage of this cloud services is, see, if I have a database, right? So they will give the provision to keep this database copy, this data copy in the multiple servers across the globe. So if one service fails, you have the data from the another server, some backup. So the reliability also more. That is very difficult for us, right? Even I can't offer a money to purchase a server to store the database a single, but they will give the multiple copies. So like that, so some advantages are there. Now we are going to focus what are the different type of services offered by the Microsoft. We are going to discuss now. Yeah. So coming to the features and capability of the Azure Machine Learning. So it has a centralized storage. So you can store your data. Storage and manage the data sets. You can store the data and you can manipulate the data. You can manage the data for the model training and evaluation. So you can do it using these Azure Machine Learning services. You can store the data and manage the data to train the model and evaluate the model. Second thing, on-demand compute resources. That means if you want to train the model, you require the computing machine. So you can create a computing machine on the cloud based on your requirement, and you can use it. And Azure will charge only when you are using, otherwise they will not charge. Okay. And automated machine learning, auto ML, which makes it easy to run the multiple training jobs with the different algorithms and parameters to find the best model of your data. See, yesterday yesterday I told, if you want to work on a regression problem, don't stick for the linear regression model only. Don't stick for the descent tree only. Don't stick for the SVM only. What I said, you try for the multiple models and evaluate the models and identify the best one. So if you do it one by one, it will take more time, but the AutoML will give the flexibility to do it parallelly at a time. So it's a time consuming and fastly computed, fastly identify the best model for your case. That's called AutoML. So everything will be done easily. You need to write the multiple codes, not required. And visual tools define the complete pipeline from the model training or complete model training. We have to create the complete pipeline. So how much training, uh, some process there, we have to set up the all the values. It will be done automatically. And you can integrate the some machine learning infra framework like ML4 to it makes easier manage the model training, evolution, and deployment at scale. So training means updating the model parameter. Evaluation means how your model is performing. And deployment means once you are happy, your model is performing well, then you deploy the model into the real-time application. That is called deployment. Okay. Also, it will give the some visualization of metrics. Different error metrics are there, right? So those metrics will be provided with the visualization. From that, you can interpret which model is better, when we go for with this model or not. All the things can be done easily. So these are the various services on the Azure platform, various AI services on the Azure platform. And a few are already retired. At the time of initially, they used anomaly detector. Yesterday I told anomaly detector. So now it is retired. They are not included in the Azure. They removed that one. And language understanding removed. Metric advisor, personalizer, Q&A maker, all are retired. And a few services are still available, like Azure AI search. So that is bring the AI powered cloud search to your mobile and web application. And then the Azure OpenAI perform the wide variety of natural language tasks. So maybe in the examinations you will got. So to perform the wide variety of the natural language tasks, so which service can be useful? So they may ask about the custom vision, document intelligence, Azure OpenAI like that. So you have to choose the corresponding Azure services. Similarly, bot services available. So to create the bot application, chatbot applications, and interface with the various websites or mobile. That means if you create a bot service, you have to place that bot service on web application, or you want to attach that bot service to your Facebook, or you want to attach that bot service to your mobile application. That can be done by using the bot services. You can create a bot framework. You can build the bot service and integrated bot services with the other across other channels. Other channels means email or web application or mobile application or Facebook, social media. You can attach that bot service. And content safety. So that content safety will be used to delete the unwanted contents in your text. So that is called AI service that detects the unwanted content, content safety. And custom vision. Custom vision means suppose if you want to work with some computer with an application on your own data, let us assume uh, maybe you have the third year students and second year students, and you want to build some face recognition based application for your class only, and you have the face images of your classmates. So it's completely your database. So with your database, you want to work with the Azure, then you can use the custom vision. And if you use the computer vision, that will be used for the existing databases which are available in the cloud. But if you want to work with your own data set, then go for the custom vision. Both are computer vision related activity only, but computer vision service is only for the specified already available data sets. But for customized data set for your own data set, for your own images, if you want to work on the computer vision problem, then you go for the custom vision service. Similarly, document intelligence. Document intelligence is newly coming, is not there at the time of when I'm writing the examination. So document intelligence means we have the some unstructured data, we have the invoice bills, we have some other documents, and from that documents, it will analyze the document and it will prepare the structured data, invoice number, date field, date value, amount. So such type of things can be extracted and prepare the data. So that is called a document intelligence. So turn on document into the usable data at a fraction of time and cost. With less amount of time, with less amount of cost, your unstructured data from the document can be converted into a scalable, usable data. And there is a face application. So face application is used to detect the faces in an image or in the video and to analyze the face. Who is he? To recognize the face and analyze the face means whether he is happy or angry or sad, what is me. So such type of things can be done by using the face application. Detection, face analysis, face recognition can be done using the face service that is provided by the Microsoft Azure. So immersive reader is nothing but the this helps the user to read and comprehend the text data. So this is used to read the data that what's called immerse reader is used to read the data and get some information from that data. Okay, and there is a one more service, language service. That language service is used to build the apps with industry-leading natural language understanding capabilities. And LU is retired, all are retired, and speech service is available. So speech service is used to convert the speech to text, text to speech. And now I am speaking. Something is, I think so. Maybe something is displayed on your screen. What I am speaking. That is converting my speech into the text. Okay. Sometimes to convert the text into speech, and translation can be done by using the speech service. And translate the language from the one language to the 100 languages. So that can be done by the translator. And also video indexer service. So video indexer service is used to extract the various actions within a video. So if you feed the video to this video indexer, that will give the various activities that are happening within that video. So that means suppose in the jails, if you kept some cameras and connected to the output of the camera to a video indexer, then it will analyze the videos completely. So if someone is fighting is happening within the jail, it will give the announcement, something happening at the block number 2, block number 3. Go and stop this one. So like that, the instruction will be coming. For such type of activities, you can use the video indexer. So these are the various AI services in the Azure platform. So for all the things you no need to be a good programmer. They will streamline everything. Maybe you need a slight modification in the code based on the instructions given in the portal. It is a cloud portal, like how we are opening the Facebook, how we are opening our LinkedIn, how we are opening the Gmail. Like that, there is a portal.azure.com. So in that you can create an account, you can create a subscription, you can use the Azure services. But when you want to use the Azure services, it will charge something. Okay. Next. So Azure AI services are pre-built. Already all are the pre-built services. You just ready to use it. You no need to use. You no need to work on building the application, building the service. You can use it. For using those services, you require a minor programming knowledge, very minor programming knowledge. Where some services you no need to that one also. You no need of that one also for a very few services. Yeah. So AI has been probative for all but largest technology companies because several factors. Why it's a probative? Because you require the large amount of data to train the model, and mass amount of computing power is required, and you require a high budget to hire the specialist programmers. If that is the problem for you, that is prohibiting to work on AI project, then easily go for the Microsoft Azure services. So Azure AI services make accessible to business of all sizes, from very startup company to the very large companies. So everyone can use these AI services. Okay, to build the machine learning model, to use the pre-trained models and retrain the model, store the data, deploy the models in a web application or in the mobile application. You can use the AI services. All are the cloud-based services. Okay. Azure AI services use high performance Azure computing to deploy the advanced AI models as their resources. Okay. So Azure AI services are the like a portfolio services with the capability of suitable for the use cases of the across sectors and industries. Like what I want to tell you is the yes. So one portfolio, computer vision. You want to work with image classification problem. You want with the object detection problem. You want to work on a autonomous vehicle problems. So there is a specific portfolio, computer vision portfolio. Go and work. And if you want to work with the natural language related application, there is some portfolio like as I said earlier, some language AI search and language service, different services are there. There is the one portfolio. And for educational sector, there's the immersive reader. There's the one service. You can use that immersive reader service to read the data from the text. So what I mean to tell you is in Microsoft Azure, in the Microsoft Cloud, there is a various portfolio of the services available. So what portfolio you want to work? Education, go and work. Images, go and work. Videos, go and work. Or you want to work with the text application, go and work. So you can choose corresponding portfolio and work on it. Okay. While Azure AI services can be used without any modification, some AI service can be customized to better fit specific requirements. Of course, you can use the Azure AI service as it is. Sometimes, based on your requirement, you can slightly change your AI services based on the specific requirement of you. Customization capabilities in Azure AI Vision, that is called computer vision application. Azure AI Speech, that means speech to text, text to speech applications. Azure OpenAI, if you want to generate the new text based on your instructions, like chatbot. So Azure OpenAI all allow you to add the data to existing models. You can existing models, you can add some data. So this Azure AI Vision, Azure AI Speech, Azure AI OpenAI, all are the different services, portfolio services in the Microsoft Cloud, Microsoft Azure. Okay, next. Next one is Azure AI services are the access through the APIs. Sir, so you said that there is a various services are available in the cloud offered by the Microsoft Azure. Then how we will access those services? For every service, there is a one API. So using this API that is called application programming interface. So based on that API value, API key, you can access those services from the cloud. So I have a laptop. I am opening it to the portal.azure.com. I will create a subscription, and using that subscription, I want to connect some particular AI service. If you want to connect to the AI services, you can connect those AI services through APIs. Okay. So you can call any API based on the you can call any AI service, Azure AI service. Either it may be AI speech or OpenAI or AI vision or whatever the AI services. You can call that service based on your APIs in the cloud. It looks like those services are running on your laptop, but they're not running in the cloud. But you are connecting your PC to that one through the APIs. So how we create the AI service resources? So Azure AI services are the cloud-based, as I said earlier, the cloud-based services. Like all Azure services, you need to create a resource to use them. There are the two types of resources. One is called the multi-service or single service. So multi-service means, so uh, if you choose the multi-service, then all the services, all the AI services can be accessible. If you choose multi-service resource, if you choose multi-service resource, then you can access all Azure AI services. Okay, hope you understand. But if you use single service, that means you have to tell which service you want to use. If you use the Azure AI service that is called multi-service resource, then you can use all the AI services. No, I don't want all the AI services. I want to use only face services, then call that face resource only. Corresponding single service resource that is called. Hope you understand. సో అజూర్లో మనము ఒక రీసోర్స్ గ్రూప్ని మనం క్రియేట్ చేయాల్సి ఉంటుందమ్మా. సో మనకు డిఫరెంట్ రీసోర్స్ గ్రూప్స్ ఉంటాయి. ఒకటి మల్టిపుల్ సర్వీస్ అంటారు. ఇంకొకటి సింగిల్ సర్వీస్ అంటారు. సో అజూర్ ఏఐ సర్వీస్ అనేది ఇక్కడ చూడండి. అజూర్ ఏఐ సర్వీసెస్ అనేది మల్టిపుల్ సర్వీస్ రిసోర్స్ అనమాట. సో దాంట్లో ఫేస్ రిసోర్స్ ఉంటుంది, కంప్యూటర్ విజన్ ఉంటుంది, ఎన్ఎల్పి ఉంటుంది, డాక్యుమెంట్ ట్రేడర్ ఉంటుంది, అన్ని సర్వీసెస్ ఉంటాయి. సో మీరు మల్టిపుల్ సర్వీస్ రిసోర్స్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తే యూ కెన్ యాక్సెస్ ఆల్ ద అజూర్ ఏఐ సర్వీసెస్. Okay, that's what it is. Multiple service resource, a resource created in the Azure portal that provide access to multiple Azure AI services with single key and endpoint. With single key and endpoint, you can call all the Azure AI resource services. Okay, so the one key and one endpoint, it's like it's a identity. So someone want to call me, they call like Venkatramana. That's my identity, my name. So they call me like that. Maybe sometimes some people may call Venkat, some people may call Ramana. That's the identity. Like that, for every service you have to call with its key and endpoint within the resource. So use the resource Azure AI services when you need several AI services or exploring the AI capabilities. So ఎప్పుడైనా మీకు multiple resources AI services యూజ్ చేయాలని ఆలోచన ఉంటే then you go for the multi-service resource. Multi-service resource. No, I want to work on a face recognition based attendance application. Then why you go for the multi-service? Then go for the single service, face service. You can choose the face service and use that face service for your application. Okay, so single service resource. A resource created in the Azure portal that provides access to a single Azure AI service like speech, like vision, like language, like space. So what you want, you can call that service only. Single service. So each Azure AI service has a unique key and endpoint. Similar to the previous one, it is also unique key and endpoint. You can call those services using that key and endpoints. These resources might be used when you only require the only one AI source or want to see cost information separately. అర్థమవుతుందమ్మా? మనకు మల్టిపుల్ రిసోర్సెస్ ఉన్నాయి. ఒక్కొక్క రిసోర్స్ ఎంత కాస్ట్ పడుతుంది అని తెలుసుకోవాలనుకుంటే దెన్ ఒక్కొక్క సర్వీస్‌ని మీరు సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకొని చూసుకోవచ్చు. రెండోది ఏంటంటే ఏదో ఒక సర్వీస్ మీద నేను వర్కౌట్ చేయాలనుకున్నాననుకుంటే ఆ ఒక్క సర్వీస్ మాత్రమే కనెక్ట్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. యూజింగ్ ఎండ్ పాయింట్ అండ్ కీ. కీ అండ్ ఎండ్ పాయింట్. ఓకే. So you may got some questions in the examinations like which Azure service resource can be used to see the cost of the individual AI service. Then you can choose the single service resource. Okay. So once you create the Azure AI service resource, you can build the applications using the REST API and software. So, some knowledge check, some questions, maybe I don't know. uh, Maybe yes, yes. So this is some questions I'm going to discuss now as part of the preparation of your examination. An application requires 3 separate AI services. To see the cost of each separately, I want 3 services like vision application. I want vision service, language service, and speech service. I want to see the cost of each separately. What resource should be created? So the answer is single service resource. As I said earlier, ఇంతకుముందే చెప్పాను మీకు. ఈ పాయింట్ చూడండి. ఇక్కడ చూడమ్మా. These services, that nothing but the single service resources. These resources might be used when you only require the one AI service or want to see the cost of the information separately. So this is the what it is asking. So 3 services separate AI service అవసరం ఉంది మీకు. బట్ వాటి కాస్ట్ సెపరేట్‌గా చూడాలనుకుంటున్నారు. Then you may go with which service? Multi-service or single service? It go with a single service. ఆఫ్టర్ లాగిన్ ఇంటు ది అజూర్ స్టూడియోస్, యాక్చువల్‌గా అజూర్ స్టూడియో ఉంటుంది. అజూర్ స్టూడియోలో అన్నీ మనకు యాక్చువల్‌గా అజూర్ పోర్టల్‌లో అజూర్ స్టూడియో ఉంటుంది. ఇన్ ద అజూర్ స్టూడియో యూ హ్యావ్ ఆల్ ద సర్వీసెస్. ఓకే. సో ఆఫ్టర్ లాగిన్ ఇంటు వన్ ఆఫ్ ది అజూర్ స్టూడియో, వాట్ వన్ టాస్క్ టు కంప్లీట్ బిగిన్ యూజింగ్ ద స్టూడియో. సో దట్ ఆప్షన్ ఈస్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు క్రియేట్ ద రిసోర్స్, అసోసియేటెడ్ రిసోర్స్. ఏ రిసోర్స్ యూజ్ చేయాలనుకుంటున్నారో మీరు చెప్పాలి. మల్టీ సర్వీస్ రిసోర్స్ కావాలనుకుంటున్నారా? సింగిల్ సర్వీస్ రిసోర్స్ కావాలనుకుంటున్నారా? యూ హ్యావ్ టు అసోసియేట్ విత్ ద రిసోర్స్ విత్ ద స్టూడియో. రిసోర్స్ మీరు చెప్పాలమ్మా. ఏ రిసోర్స్ యూజ్ చేయాలనుకుంటున్నారు? కంటెంట్ సేఫ్టీ రిసోర్స్ యూజ్ చేయాలనుకుంటున్నారు. వాట్ రిసోర్స్ యూ వాంట్ యూజ్, యూ హ్యావ్ టు టెల్. అసోసియేట్ విత్ దట్ వన్. వాట్ ఈస్ అన్ అజూర్ ఏఐ సర్వీస్ రిసోర్స్? వాట్ మీన్ బై అజూర్ ఏఐ సర్వీసెస్ రిసోర్స్? జస్ట్ ఐ టోల్డ్ ఎర్లియర్. Multi-service resource. A resource created in the Azure portal that provides access to the multiple Azure AI services with a single key and endpoint. Use the resource Azure AI services when you need several AI services. So Azure AI service and several AI services, a bundle of AI services. That's the question here. What is an Azure AI service resource? It is a bundle of several AI services in a single resource. Okay, bundle of several AI services in a single resource. So that is the so this type of questions will come in the examination. This type of questions will become in the examination. So these are the various parameters that are used in the Azure, Microsoft Azure. APIs, artificial intelligence, what the Azure AI service, what mean the endpoint, what is the key, what mean the machine learning, what is the service resource we discussed, what is the single service resource we discussed, what is the endpoint we discussed, what the key discussed. So APIs. So there are the various topics, parameters that we have to know. Terminology, that is the right word, terminology that are used in the Microsoft Azure. Now, okay, I will finish this one. So coming to the machine learning in the Microsoft. So what are the things are available in the Microsoft Azure? So actually Microsoft Azure is a portal, web portal, is a cloud system. So it has the different services like there is a automated ML, automated machine learning. So automated machine learning means so you can streamline everything from the database creation and choosing the machine learning model, train the machine learning model, identify the best model, tune the hyperparameter, all can be done with limited knowledge in the any programming, with limited, very, very limited knowledge. Everything can be done streamlined. You don't need to write a huge amount of code. Slight changes only required. That is the automated machine learning. Everything will be automated. So if you want to work with the linear regression model, descent tree model, SVM model, okay, go and go to the machine learning models and choose the which model you want to try and select that one and you can run. It will be done automatically. So that is called automated machine learning. You need to no need to write the code to train the linear regression model, to train the descent tree, or to train the random forest, or to train the artificial neural network. No need to write any code. Just select which model you want to use. Okay. And so very, very limited programming skills if you have, that is sufficient, but you require some practice how we use those services. Very, very some minimal practice is required initially. But the practice is not to write a lines of code. That practice required how we can use the services. That is required. And the second is a Azure Machine Learning Designer. Second is a Azure Machine Learning Designer. So what the Azure Machine Learning Designer? If you want to use the Azure Machine Learning Designer, you no need to write a single line of code. Even if your brother or sister studying the 10th class, they can build some machine learning project. Because in the Azure Machine Learning Designer, it is a graphical user interface. You can drag and drop the data set. You can drag and drop the machine learning model. You can drag and drop the training model. You can drag and drop the evaluate model and connect all the things. And the project will be executed automatically. You need to write anything. And so that is called Azure Machine Learning Designer. That is the part of your cloud service. Azure Machine Learning Studio. Sorry, in the Azure Machine Learning Studio. So you have the designer application. So in the designer application, you can build the complete machine learning project simply graphical user interface without writing a single line of code. Okay, but for luckily, Microsoft keep the ML Studio Classic. ML Studio Classic is almost similar features as a designer. But if you want to use the designer, you have to connect your credit card to the Azure. You have to use the credit card to connect to the Azure. But similar functionalities, cloud solution is available that is called ML Studio Classic. It is a functionality same as a designer. Drag and drop type, building the machine learning project and developing the web services. Okay, that exercise we will do in the tomorrow's class. How we build a machine learning project, automobile price prediction using the Azure Machine Learning Designer. We will discuss tomorrow. Okay. So అంటే నేను ఏం చెప్పాలనుకుంటున్నామా అజూర్ మిషన్ డిజైనర్ అయినా ఎంఎల్ స్టూడియో క్లాసిక్ అయినా రెండింటికి ఒకటే ఫీచర్స్ ఉంటాయి. బట్ అజూర్ మిషన్ డిజైనర్ ఇప్పుడు యూజ్ చేయాలనుకుంటే మనం ఒక క్రెడిట్ కార్డ్ని కనెక్ట్ చేసుకుంటూ యూ హ్యావ్ టు వర్క్ ఆన్ ఇట్. సో ఫస్ట్ 30 days, ఫ్యూ డేస్ ఐఎమ్ నాట్ షూర్ ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ. సో యూ కెన్ యూజ్ ఫ్రీలీ, బట్ లాటర్ ఇట్ విల్ బి డిడక్టెడ్ ఫ్రమ్ ద క్రెడిట్ కార్డ్. లేదు, ఐ డోంట్ హ్యావ్ ఎ క్రెడిట్ కార్డ్ బట్ ఐ వాంట్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ ఇట్ అనుకుంటే మైక్రోసాఫ్ట్ వాళ్ళే ఎంఎల్ స్టూడియో క్లాసిక్ అని ఇంకోటి పక్కన ఉంచారనమాట. దాన్ని మనకు మైక్రోసాఫ్ట్ అకౌంట్ ఉంటే చాలు. సో వీ కెన్ క్రియేట్ ద కంప్లీట్ మిషన్ ప్రాజెక్ట్. ఓకే, ఎంఎల్ స్టూడియో క్లాసిక్ డిజైనర్ రెండు ఒకటే, ఆల్మోస్ట్ ఒకలాగే ఉంటాయి. బట్ ఒకటి అజూర్ మిషన్ స్టూడియోలో ఉంటుంది, ఒకటి బయట ఉంటుంది ఇంకా. అండ్ లాస్ట్ వన్ ఇస్ ద డేటా అండ్ కంప్యూటర్ మేనేజ్మెంట్. సో యూ కెన్ create your data files, you can store your data files in the Azure, and you can select your computing machine, you can configure your virtual machine, how much RAM is required, how many cores are required. You can do it everything in the cloud using the Microsoft Azure machine learning. And also you have to keep the complete pipeline. Complete pipeline you can set up while working on the machine learning project, from the data creation to the data initialization, data creation, model initialization, model training, model evolution, model deployment. For everything can be done it in a pipeline. So what is the Azure Machine Learning Studio? In that Azure Machine Learning Studio, all these features are available. So what is the Azure Machine Learning Studio? Training and deploying an effective machine learning model involve a lot of work, as I said earlier. So రియల్గా మనకు మిషన్ లెర్నింగ్ ప్రాజెక్ట్, డీప్ లెర్నింగ్ ప్రాజెక్ట్ చేయాలంటే యూ మస్ట్ హ్యావ్ ఎ వెరీ హ్యూజ్ అమౌంట్ ఆఫ్ టైమ్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు ఇన్వెస్ట్, అండ్ యూ రిక్వైర్ ఎ గుడ్ ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ స్కిల్స్, అండ్ యూ రిక్వైర్ ఎ మోర్ రీసోర్సెస్. If that is the obstacle for you to go with AI projects, then choose this one, Azure Machine Learning Studio. So Azure Machine Learning is a cloud-based service that helps to simplify some of the tasks. It takes the prepare the data to train the model, deploy the predictive service. You develop the predictive service. And Azure Machine Learning helps the data scientists increase their efficiency by automating some of the time-consuming tasks. So data pre-processing and many things are very time-consuming tasks that can be done very easily using the various services in the Azure Machine Learning Studio. And maybe some people may feel that I am good in the program, why can't use this Azure Machine Learning Studio like that? Even though if you are good in programming, maybe it will help you to reduce your time. You can focus something else, some in other things. It will be done at very time. That's what it enables the data scientist to use the cloud-based compute resources at scale effectively, handle the large volume data while incurring the cost only when it actually used. And so it will not charge when you are not using. It will charge when you are using. That's it. Once you are entered into the portal.azure.com, once you connect your resource group, then if you want to use some service, then only it will be charged. If you if you log out from the complete Azure, it will not charge. So it looks like this. Your Azure Machine Learning Studio looks like this. So you have in Azure Machine Learning Studio, you have the Automate ML. You have the designer, that is the graphical user interface to build a machine learning project. You have the data section to create the data, and you have the compute section to identify the various computing machines. So all the things are available. Okay, fine. So thank you. I want to stop here. Already it is almost to 4:30. So thank you very much, especially for the active participation in the first session, and whereas the second session is completely theory. And I will share some videos and some materials uh, coming days to prepare for the examination. So keep some effort because you are in the vacation period. Use some time for preparing for this AA certification examination. Hope you will clear this examination definitely. And this examination will be for the 1000 marks, as I said earlier. The number of questions will be changes from the 40 to 60 like that. Okay, thank you. And I want to close the session for today, and we will meet tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. And